Welcome to Better You channel, where we explore insightful ideas from exceptional books to enhance our learning and personal growth. Today's video delves into the classic novel The Alchemist by Paulo Coelho, unraveling the essence of true motivation and how it shapes our journey towards realizing our dreams. Today's video is a sharing through the classic novel titled The Alchemist by Paulo Coelho. Where does true motivation come from? Let's listen together. In our 20s, many of us wonder what our dream is. What do we truly want to do? Then, by age 25, we question whether we've truly strived to achieve our dreams or not. Is this the path that aligns with our heart's desire? And by 30, we once again bow our heads and ask, if our long-held dreams haven't been realized yet, should we start now? If you are still wandering through life, living with an uncertain heart, then by spending about 2 hours reading this 225-page book, The Alchemist, you might find your own answer. The Alchemist has been published for over 30 years, translated into 81 languages, and is a bestseller in more than 170 countries. In Brazil, its popularity is on par with soccer and religion. The reason this book has such a great impact is that each of us can see ourselves somewhere in its story. The Alchemist tells the story of a young shepherd named Santiago. To pursue his dream, he hesitates not to sell his flock, his entire livelihood. Overcoming numerous obstacles, he embarks on a journey to find a treasure in the desert. This is both a parable and a profoundly simple story that has changed the hearts of millions of readers. It's also the spiritual journey of the author himself. At 17, Paulo Coelho rebelled and was placed in a psychiatric hospital by his parents. Growing up, he was imprisoned for opposing the dictatorship. At 38, the author still felt he hadn't achieved much. He then made a pilgrimage on foot nearly 600 km to Santiago, Spain. This journey, lasting more than 3 months, gradually calmed his restless heart. From this experience, he drew the wisdom and insights that he poured into the story of the young shepherd Santiago's treasure hunt. After The Alchemist was published, it ignited the hearts of countless people struggling through life's challenges. He also became the only Latin American writer comparable to Gabriel Garcia Marquez, the author of 100 Years of Solitude. The Alchemist teaches us that a life without purpose is merely a chaotic labyrinth. Everyone who enters it spends their life searching for a way out. If you care too much about losses, you'll always miss out on your dreams. Santiago was born into an ordinary family in Spain. His parents' livelihood depended on a few acres of land. From his birth, they pinned all their hopes on him. They sent him to a seminary, hoping he would become a priest and the pride of the family. But a stable life as a priest wasn't what Santiago wanted. One day, he gathered the courage to tell his father that he didn't want to become a priest. His dream was to travel and explore the world. Despite his father's strong objections, he couldn't dissuade Santiago once he had made up his mind. In the end, his father conceded, gave him 3 gold coins and said, "Buy your sheep and live the life you want." These coins weren't just a compromise. They symbolized his father's deep approval and resonance. Like his father, who also dreamt of traveling far and wide in his youth, every character in the book has their own dream. If Santiago's father dreamt of travel, the popcorn seller by the roadside had always dreamt of going to Africa, or the crystal shop owner who always wanted to visit Mecca. Even the bandits near the pyramid had dreams of treasure hunting like Santiago. However, for many reasons, under the pressure of reality, they eventually had to abandon their dreams, leaving only regrets. But whatever the reason, it always lies between the calculation of gains and losses. It's this calculation that obscures the initial intention, the original desire of you. Without courage, without steadfastness in our hearts for what we truly desire, we'll never be able to break out of the comfort zone before us. Santiago broke free from the safe reality. Alone, he left his homeland to become a shepherd and chose to live a life he desired. In 2 years, he learned much from being a shepherd, saw many beautiful landscapes, and met many people. He thought his life would smoothly continue this way. But again, as if a signal from the universe through a dream, for 2 consecutive nights, he dreamed of a child leading him to Egypt, saying there was a treasure nearby. What does this dream mean? He then met an old man, known as the King of Salem, who told him that this dream was his destiny. The treasure was very enticing, but the present was more real. Santiago pondered. If he pursued the treasure now, he would have to give up what he had. Like many others, he almost lost himself once. If too concerned about gains and losses, you might lose what truly determines your fate. As the king of Salem told the shepherd boy, destiny is what we truly want to do. This immediately rekindled Santiago's passion. Wasn't his life's dream to see the vast world outside? Santiago followed the call of his heart, once again choosing to pursue his own dream. You should know, the most spectacular part of life is when you surrender. Bow your head to reality and say, "Oh, it's too late, this is my fate. I must accept reality." But actually no. Fate should not be something you regret. Fate should be what you truly want to do. People often wonder whether they will regret what they haven't done or what they have done. According to a study, for most things done, if there is a failure, it's only for a short time that we regret not doing better. Over time, we gradually rationalize it and no longer feel regret. But for the things we truly wanted and couldn't do, we'll ponder them day by day, regret them for a lifetime, and can never forget them, because we can't rationalize them or convince ourselves otherwise. A writer once said, "Because we don't take the first step, dreams will always remain out of reach." Dreams cannot withstand waiting and they fear discouragement. Like steel red-hot in fire, only when tempered in time at high temperatures can it be shaped as desired. Once it cools, it becomes harder to shape. So when the long, silent dream within you is awakened, act immediately. Take the first step in pursuing your dream while that enthusiasm still burns. Even if we may not reach it in the end, in the effort of every day, we will always see a better version of ourselves. What knocks you down? You must resolve to be stronger. On the path to pursuing dreams, not everything will be smooth sailing. In the early days in Africa, Santiago also experienced this. He faced two big setbacks in a row. The first was the language barrier. The second was meeting someone who spoke Spanish, who he thought was a true friend, but ended up scamming all his money. Just yesterday, when the future still seemed bright, now he had nothing. Santiago almost fell in a moment. He remembered having 60 sheep just recently, but now he had nothing. He was alone, stranded in a foreign land. Then he remembered the words of the king of Salem. When you are determined to do something, the universe will conspire to help you achieve it. These words gave him renewed confidence and courage. The next day, he packed his things and was ready to wander the streets in search of opportunities. Life sometimes gives us a knock. Sometimes it also brings us hope. As long as you have keen eyes, good at identifying problems to solve and always willing to help others, it's enough. Santiago found a crystal shop on the street, but it was quite deserted. Through observation, he suggested to the owner that clean crystals would attract more customers. He would help polish all the crystals in the shop, just for a meal. When the owner still hadn't agreed, Santiago took the initiative to polish the crystal decanters himself. Unexpectedly, as soon as he started, it attracted 2 customers, and he was hired. But the dream of going to Egypt had to overcome thousands of kilometers of desert. Not something 1-2 days of work here could afford. In the process of pursuing dreams, there will be moments of utmost despair. That is when working extremely hard for a long time, but only to see that the dream is still far off. Santiago was very saddened by this, but he still stayed at the crystal shop. He temporarily stopped thinking about his dream and focused on making money. Sometimes he had great ideas to improve the business of the shop. A year later, Santiago had doubled his initial money. Moreover, he not only learned business but also spoke Arabic. For a person in the team who shines with what they truly want to do, then perhaps the difficulties before them are no longer injustice or torture, but rather a challenge to temper ourselves and make us grow. At this point, Santiago had a choice. 1, he could now live a rich business life as it is. 2, he could go on to pursue his dream. When the shop owner tried to persuade him to stay, but in Santiago's ears, the words of the king of Salem echoed. He must always remember what he wants. So he gave up the rich life before him and continued to pursue his dream. He never forgot that the purpose of his journey was to find the treasure in Egypt. And so he continued his journey. Crossing thousands of kilometers of desert, he came to a small oasis. There he met a beautiful girl, Fatima. The moment he looked into her eyes, Santiago's heart was filled with waves of love from the first glance. After a long time, he deeply loved this girl. Even he had thought of giving up his dream, wanting to stay on this oasis forever with his love. But the dreams about the alchemist woke Santiago up. A man in love, a man about to lose himself. Giving up the dream would cause a lifetime of regret for him, and the person he loved would also live heavily with him for the rest of their lives. After seeing his own heart, Santiago resolutely pursued his dream and was determined to go to Egypt. The writer said, "A truly living person must know how to let go. Ready to let go to get, if not letting go, you can't have." Those who achieve great things all know how to give up comfort, temporary joys to pursue the real dream in their heart. True motivation always comes from the boiling inside. And next, the character Santiago faced countless major challenges while searching for the Egyptian treasure. While crossing the desert, he was captured by the military and all his money was taken. He faced a situation where he had to turn himself into the wind within 3 days, or he would die with those people. Facing this impossible challenge, he maintained his spirit, using all love, heart to communicate with the sand and wind, feeling the soul of the world and connecting with everything, striving to understand the language of the universe. With the encouragement and inspiration of the alchemist, he defied the impossible and finally turned into the wind. But when he arrived at the pyramids, not only did he not find the treasure, but he was also robbed of all his gold and beaten badly. But from the words of the thief, he learned the exact location of the treasure was actually in his homeland. When you truly have a dream you always want to realize and it exists in your heart, no matter how difficult, how hard life is, you can't be overwhelmed. As Nietzsche once said, "A person who knows why they live can endure anyhow." And the author also revealed that having the ability to realize dreams makes life more interesting. Each of us has infinite potential in life, and the process of pursuing dreams always contains countless joys. Perhaps dreams will not become reality, but in the pursuit, you will find happiness, true joy, and you will definitely become a better version of yourself. Just like the character Santiago in this book crossed seas, traveled far, went here and there, made a full circle, and finally returned to the starting point to find the treasure. It may seem like a waste of time, but in reality what he saw, heard on the way, the people and things he encountered enriched his entire life. Even if Santiago did not find the treasure, the life he lived was extremely interesting. All the ups and downs were experiences that contributed to his growth. Life should not be about the days we lived, but about the days worth remembering. Dear friends, please remember, when you have a dream, you must pursue it. Never give up the dream in your heart. No matter how realistic it may be, you must keep your dream in the warmest place in your heart. No one can stop you from living the life you want except you. You must believe that all motivation must come from the boiling inside your own heart. You must trust that there is no tomorrow you cannot reach. For the rest of our lives, may we all face the true desires in our hearts. Boldly move towards our dreams, take responsibility for our own lives, and make it shine. Thank you for listening to Better Version, a channel that shares knowledge for comprehensive development through great books. I hope today's video has provided you with valuable insights. If you appreciate this content, please like, share, and subscribe to Better You for more enriching content. Thank you for watching, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.